Aurora is Illinois' second largest city with a population of just under 200,000, and there has been unrest there tonight.
That's
Jim, yeah, we've shown you those images during this state of emergency that was declared tonight, an 8:30 curfew set in place. We showed you, sort of the standoff with police that are here in riot gear, but we've now seen something different. During all of that's going on, we've seen boards being brought out here because there was, obviously widespread looting here as well. And this is where I ran into Rosie. Rosie, you were dragging these boards through the parking lot while all this is going on. You're trying to save your taekwondo business. You found out, tell me how you found out what happened today.
Through live, Facebook Live. The person who broke into it, he recorded everything. So it's on Facebook Live.
So you found out that your business of 3 years was broken into on the internet?
Yes, correct.
I can't imagine, but what was going through your mind when you saw that?
I was devastated, honestly. So I ran. I live not far from here. Had to run. I was not able to pass with the car, so have to get here just to secure everything.
Gotcha. What did they do? What kind of damage did they do?
They broke in all the windows, all the doors. Everything is exposed right now.
Gotcha. Well, I'm so sorry about your business
Thank
here.
you.
We are seeing some action right now. The police are moving forward, and we see actually the protesters are moving through this back alley here. On the loudspeaker, police are saying that people will be arrested if they do not leave here. You do see the police in the riot gear, and you see people running towards us right now.
Different ways, baby.
Now the police are taking, as we've seen them on this line at New York, we did move a little bit closer, but we did hear on the armored vehicle people dispersing, and the police line did move forward, and we did see, these demonstrators run out. Some of them have dispersed. They're now behind some of these buildings here. But again, this line of police, the officers that we see here, they're not mixed in with demonstrators, at least right now that we see. Alfredo, if you come around the bend here, come with me here. Beyond these officers, you do see that armored vehicle. I believe that's where those instructions have been coming from that just told everyone to disperse. The mayor did institute an 8:30 curfew and declared a state of emergency earlier today. You probably hear that helicopter buzzing. There's a police helicopter that's been going around in the back parking lot there. This is where everyone's running. Now the police officers are advancing. This is an effort apparently to clear the streets. And people are moving. People are getting the message that the police want people to move. And earlier tonight, we were told by officers there, obviously there were car fires. At least one police vehicle, it's not clear if it was an Aurora police vehicle, was set on fire, and reports also of an armored vehicle that was shot into. So obviously this has escalated beyond a peaceful protest. You just heard a woman lost her business. She just has a taekwondo business on this street, and had to watch it on Facebook Live and watch that, obviously burn to the ground. But police here, they keep advancing, clearly in an effort to clear the streets here. We do not see many protesters. Far away where you're looking at now is where you see most of the people running. You see a few people running, some cars going through the back. Now the officers seem to be retreating, or at least walking back. It's unclear why the change of strategy or what has happened. We haven't seen really anything from our vantage point to make them, to change course here. But you have a group of officers here holding a line, and then those officers are really advancing over there to push those crowds back. It looks like in a parking lot back there. Again, we're a good distance away from them here, but it does appear that those officers are trying to clear them out through, it looks like between an alley and a fire station. The Aurora fire station right here is where those protesters are being pushed to. That was a group here, and again, now here come the officers. They're advancing. After taking a quick stop, they are now moving forward down the street here. They are advancing from New York Street, and there are a few protesters that are standing in their way, that are standing in the street. We will see what happens here. It does not appear that they are clearing, at least, again, from our vantage point. Alfredo, I don't know if you can see those two guys straight ahead of where the police are headed, are walking. And you can hear the commands from these heavily armed, heavily geared officers. They want people off the streets here, asking people to back up and leave because that state of emergency has been declared. They want people to go home. This is obviously not a peaceful protest any longer. The mayor said that it began peaceful, but escalated beyond that with cars being torched and armored vehicles also being shot at, is what police have reported to us tonight, with widespread looting, and does not seem anyone has gotten in to the way of these officers here as they begin to advance or continue to advance and clear the street and put an end to this, as an 8:30 curfew was put in place here in Aurora after, again, violence, looting, not a protest, not a demonstration, but some scary scenes of car fires and cars being shot at. When we first walked up here, the officers, they warned us. They said, they are shooting at us. Be careful. And we were actually standing near a couple officers. They said, that's up to your own risk because people are throwing bottles at us as they're walking by. So where we're walking now is where we were standing earlier in the night. We were standing right here, and we saw those officers with the long gun. They were sort of using this corner as shield, as a protection here, and keeping as another layer of defense as the action was here. And the officers, that we were showing it from a distance, were down there. They have now advanced and are holding this line at Broadway and Spring Street. So apparently they feel that they were able to clear out Broadway downtown here and move the protesters from the downtown area. Excuse us, officers. And if you go down there, you look down the line of police here, you see the demonstrators there. That appears to be where the other line of officers that were advancing and pushing away pushed them out of the downtown area to put an end to the looting, the violence, shooting in armored vehicles. Police here are saying enough, and that is what we are seeing here. Again, we are a distance away from those demonstrators that are across the street. But it does appear that the officers are just letting them, go home if they don't cause, any issues, any problems. Alfredo, we're gonna walk the line here. We're gonna cross. If you're good, Alfredo. So you see officers. No issues here. They are holding the line. Again, this is where we were before, where those two squad cars were, and these armored officers, they were in the middle of the intersection at New York where these demonstrators were. So they seem to have it under control here. Where we're headed to now, this is where those group of protesters were running to, and this is sort of a second wave of armored, heavily geared up officers. We do see a number of German Shepherds. Here it looks like police dogs at the ready. We are being told to hold the line here, and we're going to respect this officer's wishes here to give them space because they've had a long night. Again, these officers here are. There does not seem to be any clashes. They are clearing out this area. We have seen a car on fire. A police car was on fire earlier tonight, which really escalated this scene here. We do see this officer talking to somebody. He's trying to advance. I don't know if you have us live. Doesn't seem to be too much. And you do see the dogs advancing here as this gentleman, did approach the line. So you do have these two K-9 officers. There's at least two more down there, K-9 officers, in front of the line of heavily protected officers. right here. They are advancing. Here go these officers advancing. They are going another layer. This is now coordinated with the officers behind here. They're threatening. They're about to let the dog off to this gentleman. Focus on this gentleman. They say you're about to get bit. He is not moving fast or at the pace that these officers would like. Alfredo, let's keep going. They have warned him several times that he is about to get bit, and he is not walking with any urgency. He does appear to be walking away, but he's smoking a cigarette. You just saw him exhale. You can hear the dogs barking. He is taking his time sauntering, and these officers are yelling commands at him. I just want to take in. He's going away. Now police are have their attention on this guy with a vest. He just fell off his bike. It looks like he's on an electric bike. They're yelling commands at him now. Here come the dogs. We're going to back up because the dog's coming.
Charlie?
These guys are just riding, and Alfredo, can we focus on the bicyclist here? Yeah, Erica, you trying to talk to me?
Yes, just wanted to get some information from you. We're seeing some of the riding on some of the officers out there. What officers are you seeing out there? Is that state police in concert with Aurora Police Department? Who seems to be on the scene?
It appears, at least this officer in the green, the helmet, that is state police. The canine officers, those appear to be state police as well. Uniforms matching on the officers in the black helmet and stick. Those also appear to be state police that we are looking at right now. They do have this area under control. There is another large armored vehicle. It's not clear if this was the one that was brought in. It doesn't look like the one that we showed you earlier. This might be the one that was shot at. We're not close enough to get, to make that determination. But there is an armored vehicle now behind these officers, sort of continuing the push to clear people out. There's a couple people in the distance. They don't, police don't seem to be too concerned with them. But police continue just to, continue to push the line here and keep downtown safe, because apparently there was looting, there was violence in the downtown area here. There's this bicyclist on the electric scooter. That is the only person who is here. He is facing like he's going to head towards these officers. I don't think that these officers are going to let that bike come towards them. That's just from my vantage point here. But you see a line of state police in the front. Oh, there goes that bicyclist. He is moving towards these officers right now. There's not much room for him. He just turned around like I imagine they were not going to let him through there. He's making his way through the parking lot, and again, is going to be greeted by that first wall of officers that we showed you, those state police officers that are holding the line at that intersection. So the police here, they have a strategy, they have a plan of how they wanted to clear this. They came to a point, we showed you that armored vehicle that came in, that sort of signaled that the police had had enough, that they were done, that they were going to clear this out, not because, because these demonstrations took a turn tonight. They turned violent, and they wanted to restore peace to the streets of Aurora right now. Again, it is quite a sight to see all those officers down there. You see those state police officers there, and then Alfredo, if we swing around here, they have now secured this area here, a layer of state police, a line of state police here, a layer of canine officers, another layer of state police with shields, and that armored vehicle. So I do not believe that anything will escalate beyond here. It does look like the Aurora police, or at least the streets of Aurora, with the help of the Illinois State Police, I should say, have things under control finally here in Aurora.
Yeah. Great job, Charlie. Thanks so much.